Well, if you're a gun voter in southern Laramie County, you have a choice to make in the upcoming August 20 Republican Party primary. Representative Clarence Styvar or his challenger, Thomas Lear. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the Wyoming House? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Wyoming Gun Owners. The primary is coming up very fast, and in southern Laramie County, right underneath Cheyenne Metro is the best way to describe it. We're being asked about this primary between Representative Clarence Styvar and his challenger, Thomas Lear, House District 12. And the question you're asking us right now is very simple. Everyone says they're pro-gun in Wyoming in a Republican Party primary, usually. And most often what we see is when that person gets to Cheyenne, they oftentimes join the swamp, join the rhinos, and they vote to sabotage or weaken our gun rights. So the question you asked us this cycle is not who says they're pro-gun, but how do we know who we can trust? Who can we believe in that will fight for our gun rights in Cheyenne? It's an important question, guys. We've been betrayed so many times over the last 4 or 5 years. We have to be suspicious again in Republican Party primaries. Now, in this video, we're not going to tell you who to vote for. We can't do that. What we will do is give you guys the information we have compiled about this race. We're going to review voting histories, candidate survey programs, public statements made for or against the Second Amendment to give you guys a deep dive on where these two candidates stand. And we're going to start with Thomas Lear. Thomas Lear's got one thing going for him, and I'll be very honest, the guy's got killer hair. Thomas, when you see it, well done, my man. But that's where the good news ends, because Thomas Lear is refusing to fill out his WIGO gun rights candidate questionnaire. And when a candidate will not complete a survey from an organization like WIGO, it's almost always an indicator that that candidate, in this case Thomas Lear, does not support the organization's mission statement, in our case, the Second Amendment. We have never in our lives here at WIGO had somebody who would not survey who turned out to be good on guns in Cheyenne. That's never happened to us ever here at WIGO. So he will not survey. So what that means is we just don't know. We can't tell you how he would vote on things like repealing deadly gun-free zones, or defending stand your ground law, or defending the law we passed just this year to ban red flag gun seizures here in Wyoming. We have no idea how he would vote in these issues because he will not tell anybody what he believes on the Second Amendment. We did a deep dive on his website also, and his social media platforms, and Thomas Lear has 0 mentions on social media or on his website on where he stands on gun rights. Honestly, I was kind of curious myself, and one of our team members told me about Mr. Lear. I hopped on his website myself, looked around for a few minutes. What's concerning to me is when a candidate does not have any issues on his website, 0 policy positions online. I had a donor call recently about this race, and he asked me the question that I kind of laughed at first. And he said, is Thomas Lear a Manchurian candidate for gun control? Does this guy actually support the left's agenda, and does he want to attack our gun rights? And I didn't have an answer to give him because we hadn't done our full research workup on this race. But now I can see why people are suspicious of Mr. Lear. When someone has no policy positions, no issues of any kind, it leaves you wondering, are they a radical leftist who's trying to masquerade as a Republican or not? We do not know because Thomas Lear will not tell anybody. So guys, in our experience, if a candidate looks like a rhino, talks like a rhino, walks like a rhino, pretty strong chance that person's a rhino. Can't guarantee it, but that's been our experience here at Wyoming Gun Owners. A lot of concerns when it comes to Mr. Lear. That brings up Clarence Styvar. Clarence Styvar has been around now for 6 years in the House, well, elected for the first time in 2018, and Clarence has been a rock for gun owners for all of his time in Cheyenne. This cycle, Clarence surveyed 100% pro-gun with WIGO. You can see his survey on our website right now. You can see all of our surveys on the website right now to have a detailed review of each of the questions we asked him and how Clarence answered the questions. But more important to us than a survey are deeds, actions, because actions always speak louder than words, especially in the legislature. And when it comes to deeds, Clarence Styvar is not short on them. This year, he was a leader in the fight to pass Senate File 109 in the House. This was WIGO legislation, a first of its kind in America to ban red flag gun seizures here in Wyoming. You've all heard of a red flag law. They've got them in Colorado. They're spreading across the country. Your ex-spouse calls you in and says, "You might be dangerous." And the police call the judge and say, "This guy might be dangerous." And the judge signs the order and your guns are gone. No arrest, no conviction, heck, no charges. Just you come home from work one day, your front door is hanging open and your guns are gone. We have banned that practice in Wyoming forever because guys like Clarence Styvar stood tall this past session and made that happen. When the rhinos realized that SF 109 was going to pass, they tried to kill it in committee. They couldn't do that. They tried to keep it off the floor for a vote. They couldn't do that. Their last-ditch effort was to run a series of amendments to destroy, weaken the impact of SF 109. They had Bob Nicholas, who is the biggest rhino in the House by far. Nobody else comes close. They had Bob Nicholas do it. 4 amendments. It was probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of knockdown, drag-out battles on the House floor where the rhinos were desperately trying to weaken this bill. Clarence Styvar was there the entire time. He fought against the amendments on the floor, urged the body, his colleagues, to oppose the amendments. He was opposed to all 4 amendments, and he won the day and helped us preserve the integrity of SF 109. So he didn't just vote for it. He fought for it. He fought for it with the amendments. He fought for it on the floor. A strong support, a strong showing from Clarence Styvar. The same thing happened, though, with House Bill 125. This is our bill this session to rid the state, finally, of deadly gun-free zones. We all know gun-free zones are stupid. There's no gun-free zones anywhere because criminals always, even in jail, criminals have weapons. So there is no gun-free zones. Heck, it was a gun-free zone in Pennsylvania where President Trump got shot in the side of the head. So clearly gun-free zones only protect dangerous people. We all know that. HB 125 would fix that problem. Clarence Styvar was a yes vote on that. He helped us fight for it. And then, as everyone probably knows, Governor Gordon vetoed that bill as a favor to the anti-gun lobby here in Cheyenne. We were adjourned for the year. The only way for us to fix that is to call for a special session. We have to have a simple majority in the House and Senate to get that done. Clarence Styvar was a yes vote on a very difficult, contentious vote to call for that special session. In fact, we lost that fight. There was not enough votes in the House to get that done. But Clarence Styvar, again, stood tall for gun rights and supported that call for a special session. And I want to draw your attention to one last issue. It's gun rights related, but not directly in the way that you might think. If you don't know by now, the rhinos in Cheyenne, they hate Wyoming gun owners. They hate us all the time, but they really hate us in the primaries. They hate videos like this. They hate our text campaigns. They hate our email program. They hate the fact that we pull back the wool, or pull back the curtain rather, and expose the rhinos for who they are. So, a couple of years ago, they came after WIGO, trying to muzzle us forever with bogus campaign finance laws that were designed to do one of 2 things. Either force us to surrender all of our donors' names, which would kill the organization, or number 2, face crippling fines at the hands of the state. That bill came up in 2022. There was an earlier version before that in 2018. But in 2022, House Bill 49, that was their attempt at campaign finance law. Its unofficial title in Cheyenne was the We Hate WIGO bill. And Clarence Styvar was one of a few Republicans who was a no vote on that bill on the final passage May 8, 2022, because he knew that was an attack on the First Amendment. And if organizations like WIGO could not expose anti-gun politicians, it would only harm our gun rights long term. That was an unpopular vote for Clarence to take. He did it because it was the right thing to do, and we're happy to call attention to that vote, which certainly was a pro-gun vote. Of course, as you guys know, this law did in fact pass. So did the prior iteration of it. They came after us. We happily sued the state in federal freaking court. We won big in district court. We won even bigger in circuit court. We won. Case closed. The state lost. That's why we're here today doing videos like this. But it didn't have to happen. And if more of the rhinos had followed the right path and joined conservatives like Clarence Styvar, it never would have got that far. So guys, that is our recap in this race. Clarence Styvar, 100% pro-gun in his survey, but more importantly, 100% pro-gun in his actions in Cheyenne. If you see Clarence, be sure and thank him for always standing up for gun owners and the Second Amendment. And if you see Thomas, again, be sure and ask this guy, man, what's your deal? You won't survey, you won't talk about guns, you don't discuss anything on your website. Are you a conservative? Are you even a Republican? Why are you running for office? Ask him the hard questions, guys. Be suspicious. Trust nobody. Verify everything. That's our report on this race. Guys, do me a favor. If you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, our website, wherever you're seeing this, share it on your own social media platforms. Tag your friends. Make sure everyone knows about these two candidates. You can see more race breakdowns on all of our social media platforms. Guys, check them out and join the fight today at joinwygo.com.